Hello and welcome to the Review of Champions. It's time to talk about Andor, episode 5. With me are Mr. Taylor first
Hey,
and Merv.
Hello.
Hello. Before we start, I would like to ask you all to hit the like and subscribe button and maybe join our forum on Sakar. Sakar.freeforums.net. It's that nice community full of nice fans, and we would love it if you sign up and join our conversation. And if you want, you can be on our show. We're gonna talk spoilers, so if you haven't seen the episode yet, go check it out first and then come back to the video. Andor episode 5. I enjoyed it actually, even though I didn't get what I expected. I expected to see the heist, but actually we got only the build up to the heist. But still, I thought it was great. Agree, Taylor?
yeah, I agree 100%. I think everyone was expecting the heist to happen this episode, and it didn't. But it was still a really great episode and a really great build-up to the heist or the operation. This show is just great. I mean, the acting and the writing and the cinematography, and I mean, it's all you know, movie level, top tier television series level of stuff. And I'm okay that they're not rushing the action. You know, there's going to be action, all right, and they already know this series is going to have multiple seasons, so there's no reason to rush it. Right now, I'm good, and they're doing a lot of really great character development. So I really like the episode.
Merv?
I loved it. Yeah. I was the only person who didn't expect the heist. I was really glad that we got like the build up in the character interaction between a lot of the different like side characters during this mission, well, at least, and Cassian's relationship with these people. We got, through his lens, like kind of who these people are and even their own like little hierarchy that they have going, and just his interactions with those people were real good. And like just laying out the heist before we go through it, like how ideally it's going to go. And I think we all expect it not to go ideally, you know what I mean, as every heist does.
That will be a surprise.
Yeah. Just so much I like about it. Like you said, it all feels cinematic. I love their ability to make one TIE fighter feel threatening. That, just between the sound design and the choreography of that coming in, like it felt like that could ruin everything for them. It didn't yet, but it felt that was the pressure that felt. And it was like comparing that to like the one TIE fighter that we see in A New Hope whenever they come out of, light speed or whatever. It was like, oh, that's like it's basically a gnat on your windshield. That doesn't mean anything. They're about to destroy it before they come across the Death Star. But here, it could ruin everything. And I just felt like it was a nice, there was a lot of tension and it was just one spaceship, one guy in one spaceship, and that was it. Yeah, I just really like this episode. I really like what they're setting up and all the different characters involved. I love the stuff with Mon Mothma and the little bit we got with I forget the other guy's character, the art dealer. Luthen, yeah. The little stuff we got there. It's all very, building up to the heist, which I assume is going to be next episode now. But it feels properly built up at this point.
Yeah, it's clear to me at least that this is actually the birth of the rebellion. This heist is gonna. There are some things going on already in as a rebellion. I mean, the woman lieutenant or whatever in the headquarters is catching on. She literally says, "If I were to do what they do, I would do the same. I would spread it out as much as possible." So she's catching on, but this is going to be a big one for the rebellion. Don't you think so?
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely feels like it is, especially to characters like Luthen and Mon Mothma, the start of something. Mm-hmm. Obviously following the prequel trilogy, like there are already seeds of, characters who have already been wronged by this empire that, are obviously filtered throughout the galaxy. But this feels like it's finally an organized front to some extent. And I'm not sure if they're stealing weapons. I feel like they mentioned a garrison, so maybe they're stealing, supplies, or maybe it's just money, enough to buy weapons or whatever the case may be. It definitely feels like without this bankroll, they're not going to be able to fund the resistance, and so they need this to be a victory. And so I think it will, but I'm wondering what the cost is going to be to our group of characters that we know. We know Andor's not going to die, but what about the rest of them? Yeah.
Well, they hint actually at him moving on already in this episode. There was a small hint, like, I'm gonna leave after this done. But they do spend a lot of time deepening the relationships between Andor and the rest of the group that has been working there for months. Not all relations get developed in a good way, by the way. Some trust is broken and tensions are rising. Taylor, will this heist be the trigger that will put the Empire on the scent of the rebellion more? Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. It certainly seems that way. It appears. Just the feel of it appears like this is the biggest thing that the rebellion has attempted up till now. All the other stuff has been small, so small that the Empire hasn't even noticed that it's an organized rebellion, except for that one few people that are piecing it together slowly. So I think this will be a pretty big event, and I think it will definitely get the attention of the Empire. And I think after this episode, regardless of how it ends up turning out, we're going to see something of a crackdown by the Empire.
Well, we have been praising this episode so far. Were there any negatives? Things you didn't like?
The only negatives I have with the show so far is, and they're pretty small, specifically for this episode, I could have done without the bratty teenage daughter scene. I realize that that's part of the character development for Mon Mothma, but I think they could have done it other ways besides bringing in, oh my God, a bratty teenager. So that I didn't like. And the only other thing I don't like about this show, and it's not that I don't like it, it's that I'm used to Star Wars being a certain thing, and it's kind of the aesthetic. Sometimes it's just a little too Earth, if you know what I mean. Like the cereal and with the milk on it for breakfast.
It was blue milk, straight out of the Last Jedi.
It was blue milk, but it looked like regular old earthly cereal to me. And when Mon Mothma is in her speeder, this is a little bit too much like a regular old limousine aesthetic to me, Star Wars is known for that world building, that creation of unique aesthetics and unique machines and unique technology and stuff. And again, it's a small thing that at this point, but it almost felt like I was watching The Expanse at some point instead of watching a Star Wars thing. And again, it's subtle. It's not killing me. I know we're going to see plenty of Star Wars technology and stuff as it goes on. I just think the writers are a little bit too focused on making it too grounded or too relatable to Earth stuff.
Merv, any negatives for you?
There's one that it's kind of both a negative and a positive. The Mon Mothma stuff, I enjoy it for what it is. It successfully makes me uncomfortable, like being in the room with them, because they have such a toxic family relationship. Mm-hmm. Like when they're just doing these a little bit of gaslighting and taking pot shots at each other, in normal conversation, it makes me feel icky, and it succeeds in doing that. So it's a good thing for the storytelling perspective, but I just don't like sitting through it. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense. It's just, yeah,
Now I actually have something on this. I don't you think it's odd that her husband doesn't know anything about what she's really doing? I mean, you would expect a guy like that or at least someone in that relationship to you, have some kind of knowledge that what you're doing.
It seems to me, with the little bit that we got, that he's pro Empire and she's pro Rebellion, and almost that this marriage and family is almost a front for the Senate, for lack of a better, excuse. And that, like, if she didn't need to maintain this, facade, that it would have probably broken up years ago. It just seems, I don't know, but it feels too toxic for me to like every scene I'm just like cringing, not because it's bad like acting or anything like that, but just because I feel like I'm in the room with them. You know what I mean? Like if you've ever been in a room with a couple who are fighting, that's what it feels like. And I hate I hate that feeling.
Yeah, that is embarrassing feel.
It's like secondhand like embarrassment or angst or anxiety or whatever. Like it's effective in that front, but it's a weird feeling to me. The only other thing is I'm not sure. Obviously, the security guard who is with his mother now eating the cereal. I'm just, we spent almost this whole episode obviously not focused on him, but he didn't really go anywhere, and I'm just wondering how he's going to tie back in. Like I almost wish he would have went for like, now he's like the underling of the Imperial woman who is researching all this stuff, and somehow that'll tie together. Or maybe next episode he'll be off on his own, like he's just got such a, he's so much against Cassian Andor now that he's going to track him down and kill him himself or whatever.
Yeah,
but I almost wish it would just get off his feet already.
He seems a little bit obsessed, but he is a little bit of a mama's boy. I mean, go cry with mom, arrange a job with his uncle. It feels a bit. He's not a man on his own. Taylor, do you like that storyline?
I mean, I like it, but I agree that it may be devoting a little bit too much time to it. They did do a great job of him, looking at the hologram of Andor, and that scene of him just looking at it told us everything we needed to know about where his head is. He blames this guy for ruining his life and costing him his job. So so I think they're going to develop that character throughout the series. I think he's going to be part of the Empire. Maybe become a high-ranking person in the Empire eventually. But yeah, I mean, we get it. His mother is annoying, and he eats cereal and blue milk, and he's mad about losing his job. Okay, I'm not sure we needed as much emphasis on that.
Yeah, those scenes, the scenes with Mon Mothma and her family, and with the security guard, whatever his function was or is, that they dragged the show a little bit, to me at least. I thought the dynamic between the group, the rebel group, was by far the most interesting, and I actually didn't need all that other stuff like Luthen trying to listen in through radio waves or whatever, I guess, and stuff like that. Yeah, to me, it felt like filler for this episode. This episode didn't need it. Okay, next week we get the heist. You think? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think they ended this on a perfect cliffhanger, or whatever you want to call it, lead in to next week being the heist. I'm just wondering what's going to go wrong. Maybe that woman comes and does a random check, and I don't know. I don't know what's going to go wrong, but I'm sure something will.
I'm looking forward to seeing the eye. Taylor?
Yes. Yeah, and they really emphasize that the inside man, the officer in the inside the dam, inside the facility there, did a great job, and that was a great scene where he interacted with those guys and arranged it for there to be a skeleton crew on duty, so everyone else could go and watch the eye thing, Mm-hmm. So I thought that was all, the writing on all that is just great. Obviously, we're going to see the heist next week, and I hope I don't know. the interactions between the team have been fantastic. And this last episode, I just kept thinking to myself, which one of them is the traitor? Because there just might be someone who's a traitor in this group.
Yeah, and I have a feeling is it gonna be the lieutenant
I don't know.
in the base? I have that feeling.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really think about it too much. I started thinking, I don't know. I feel like it would have to be somebody not obvious. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the one we got the least amount was the healer woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or maybe the second in command, the tall black guy.
By the way, the two women in the group, they split up. They split away. Where they didn't really tell us what they were gonna do, right?
Correct. They did not.
So,
well, I think one thing we can be sure of, though, the ship is not going to be mounted on the rail when they get there. Because they asked that 100 times.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too. I can't express how much I appreciate that Andor, the character, is capable and feels weathered in this world already. Like, he's not some green new guy who doesn't know what he's doing out here. He feels like one of the most experienced people in this group already, and he's been there for like a day. You know what I mean? I love that about this character in particular.
Yeah, or at least he acts like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that little scene where Andor gets sort of exposed as a hired gun. Do we? Does it serve a further purpose than just creating tension and drama in this group, or do you think there will be a payoff? The sense that he actually took away the tension by saying, "Hey, I'm hired gun, so now you know."
Well, yeah, I mean, he did take away tension within the group to a degree, by being honest with them. You know, and I think they didn't trust him up to that point. Now they probably, in a way, they say, he's not a patriot. He's not one of them down for the cause like we are. But in another way, at least we know who he is and why he's doing this, and that he's getting paid for it. The other thing is, I'm guessing probably pretty soon he is going to start believing in the cause, probably right after this mission. He's going to start believing in the cause and stop becoming more active in the rebellion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
I missed the droid from the first couple episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lack of droid in this series.
Yes, we need more droids.
Yeah, but then again, I don't see droids walking or driving, whatever they want to call it, across fields and through woods and on over mountains.
Like, why isn't there? And I always say her name wrong, but Mon Mothma. Why isn't her chauffeur a droid?
Yeah.
Of all the things that you could make a droid, the one probably position in this world.
Luthen should have a droid to annoy him.
Exactly. Working there, yeah.
Yeah. So, extra tension. Maybe a droid loyal to the Empire. That would be nice.
Maybe that's why she doesn't have them around, because they could be programmed.
That's true. Okay, guys, let's rate this week's episode of Andor. Giving you the floor first, Merv. Tell me.
I'll give it a 8 out of 10. It was very good. I thought it was a great setup to the heist. Pretty much everything on this show is working for me a whole ton. I'm expecting the heist to be a great episode. Next week, I expect to be even better than this one.
Mm-hmm. Taylor?
Yeah, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. And I'm expecting next week to be a lot of fireworks and setting up for the future.
Yeah, I agree. I also go for 9 out of 10. I think the show is excellent. They take their time to build characters, to build relations. So later on, even though we're just 5 episodes in, 3 weeks in, if next week somebody were to pay the price for being a rebel, it will mean something to me personally. Yeah, so I think it's very well done. So a 9 out of 10 for sure. And yeah. Well, that will conclude our review for episode 5 of Andor. Before we finish, I would like to ask you all to hit that subscribe button, notification bell on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, like our Facebook page, join the forum on Scar. That way you will never miss us and we won't have to miss you. Bye.